I am back today with my volume 3 of our family stories. And I did go ahead, I have put labels on the spines of these now. I just created this in WordSwag, which is one of my favorite apps. I don't remember the name of this font that I used, but I actually made a few of these just for our stories. So I can't believe I'm on volume 3 already. And I realized that I made a video and intended to post volume 2 back in January, and I just found the video on my iPad. So I am going to try to post that today as well. So you'll be able to see volume 2, and then I'm going to look back and see if I've done volume 1 or not. So if I haven't, then I will try to record that one as well. So let's just dive into volume 3. This is my current album that I'm in right now. This is where I put our family stories and my own personal stories. So two different ways. One, our family stories are mostly told with Ali Edwards story kits. So whatever the theme is for that month, I will go through and either tell a story from that month, reflecting the idea or the theme, or if the theme really fits well with something in the past, then I will pull something in from the past, which there's an example of that already in 2024. So I feel like I have a lot of pages that are still coming. I will do an update once we get to that point, but let's go ahead and dive in. So I have a kind of have a formula of how I'm making my title pages. So I have those here. I like to stamp out our stories many times, and I just have not gotten around to doing that yet. So these are just extra page protectors here that I keep up here. And we're gonna start with Savor. So for Savor, and almost all of these, I have a reel on my Instagram. So if you're interested in seeing how these pages kind of came together, they're really sped up. I know they're super sped up so that I can fit them into the time limit. But it gives you an idea of how I scrapbook. I do almost all of my scrapbooking on my phone. Very rarely any other way. Every so often I'll use Photoshop. Every so often I'll use Canva, but the main apps that I'm using are Project Life, my absolute favorite app of all time, GoDaddy Studio, probably my second favorite. No, maybe, I don't know. Second favorite is tied for GoDaddy Studio and WordSwag. WordSwag is the other one that I use a lot, and then I also use Collect. But big disclaimer with Collect, I have heard for the last couple of years that they're going to discontinue Collect and they're no longer supporting it. I have seen that to be true. I know some people can't open it. I am so afraid of the day that will come that I won't be able to use it anymore. Okay, so Savor. I think Savor was actually February. I don't have all of these written out in front of me, so I won't be able to remember. But it just has this fun little pull-out card, and it is just a recipe. It is quite simply just a recipe. And I actually do have a recipe book that I want to do a flip through of as well. So this is just talking about, basically I switched to being mostly vegetarian, gosh, over a year ago. So this is just a fun vegetarian recipe that I make. In fact, this one is even vegan. So it is on my Instagram. If you're interested in it, it's creamy butter beans. They're delicious. I just made them this week again. Okay. So just documenting that. And it is just a page with a slit cut in it so that this can come in and out. Okay. Adhered to Start, which was January. And this is just a story about my son trying swim for the very first time, and this was one of his January meets, so it's just talking about him and his experience with that. The next one is from Day in the Life. This year is different. I believe it's Day in the Life or just stories. It's an Ali Edwards kit, but it's her read kit, and as soon as I saw this paper, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. And many of you have probably experienced this too, where you have this really great idea and execution just becomes a problem. That is like this, bless this little page's heart. It took me so much time and so many mistakes, and I love it. It turned out great, but it is so simple when you see it. And this was my idea from the very beginning, and I just struggled with this page. But it's basically a book that made me laugh, a book that made me cry, a book that challenged my thinking, a book that broke my heart, and a book that inspired me. And I just wrote with a Sharpie the first book that came to mind that I have read that fell into these categories. And then on the inside, I just took a screenshot of that book, and each flap has the corresponding book with it. Okay. And then that one. And then the big one. Then on the back of that is Stories of Love. And it is Ali Edwards, I think, did a page very similar to this. And it was, what I did is I used WordSwag to fill in each one of these questions: the year we met, where we met, how we met, you get our song, all of those things. Filled them out, printed this out, and then I actually hand cut this with the X-Acto knife and then cut the little circles out for the flaps. And then underneath each one of these, there is actually a photo that that corresponds. And actually this one was just our story, so that was a journaling card. So I printed these out at, let's just see, because I can't remember. They were an odd size. So I think I actually printed them at 2 by 2.5. I might have printed them at 2 by 2 because that's easier for my little printer to figure out, and then just adhere them to the back of this and put it all together. Okay, this is an example of where I went back. I saw, this was inspired by someone else, and I wish I could give whoever it was credit, but I saw something similar to this where it was 3-dimensional. It was the Seek story kit, and I just really loved it. And I took this really beautiful photo of the sunset with the sailboat while we were in Mexico last November, and so I just wanted to make a page to put in there. So the last page I made for our family story kits is actually in April. It's June right now, so I have lots of pages that I know are probably living on my phone that need to get printed, and I will absolutely print them and put them in this album. But that is it for right now for the story kits for our family stories. So now I'm going to move in and into my own personal stories, and actually I will make some sort of divider, or I may just put a tab on here indicating that this is a different section of the album. I did this last year, and I really love having these stories in here too. So the prompts that I'm using this year are from I Love It All Shop, and I will link that below. It's on Instagram, and she has weekly 5 Things Fridays, I think is what it's called. But it's just weekly prompts, so 52 weeks. And I have done several different versions of, like, Ali Edwards had a 31 things that I've done that I also have not printed. So I need to take my own advice and make sure that I'm printing those and getting those out into the world in tangible physical forms. But I have done 31 things. I've done 100 days of me where it was just 100 different prompts. And then last year I did 52 weeks of me, which was put on by Maiden Mojave, which is also on Instagram. And this year it is the 5 Things Fridays. So it is just a prompt. The first week was how I will reset my mind for 2023. And I literally just took this is just printed on photo paper, and I totally made this in GoDaddy Studio for the background. And then I added the text. Well, this is actually a stamp, I think, or a journaling card. And then the text I added in WordSwag and just printed it. A lot of these, that's all I do with them. I don't get super crafty with them. I am more interested in just journaling and telling my story on these pages. So it is just photo paper stuck back to back. I leave an extra 1/2 inch on this side. So these are actually cut down. They're 6 by 8 pages, but I do 6.5 by 8. And sometimes I don't even cut them correctly to that size. So it is what it is, but these are 6 by 8 with that extra 1/2 inch just to have the hole punch. The next one is Life Right Now, and I just took pictures and put them in into Project Life app and then wrote over the top of them. WordSwag, and I think GoDaddy Studio is how I put that one on there. The next one is a prompt that I love doing. It has, I would need to do a page of like the evolution of my purses, because like we carry all these things with us all the time and it changes with the seasons of life. And I don't have any babies anymore, so I don't have a diaper bag anymore. My purse is like an 1/8 the size that it used to be. And these are the things that I carry with me now. And some of it's just kind of random. Some of it was actually left over from vacation. And I'm kind of a purse fanatic. I love purses, so I love having this documented. Oh, and just, well, once again, this is going to be a segue to that. One of my favorite things is my planner. I have to have a paper planner, and my paper planner has to fit in my purse. That is like the only requirement for any purse I buy. The first thing I do is I check to make sure that my planner fits in it. So I use a Passion planner and I love them and highly recommend them. So this is a page about my Passion planner, actually. It's things I do to feel more organized. I write out a brain dump every week. I fill out my planner every week. I meal plan. I declutter, usually a table, because that's where all of our things get dropped. And then I have a weekly list of chores and tasks that I try to get done. So just 5 things that I do each week to feel more organized. You know, where else would you scrapbook this? Like, unless you were specifically asked this question, like, it's just so cool to have this in here. Same thing with this one. My favorite $5 splurges. Once again, I would never ever scrapbook this if I wasn't asked in a question. I got a little adhesive on this page, but I'm a messy scrapbooker. So this, I made the flap in GoDaddy Studio with this on here, and then I brought it into WordSwag and put the text on there. So if you're interested in seeing any of that, it is on my Instagram. That's at Megan Scrapbooks. Okay, and this opens up and just is screenshots of the things that I like to spend $5 on. 5 things that I spend $5 on a regular basis. I have to have this, love it, keep it in my desk at work all the time. Also have this in my car, in my desk, on my nightstand, in my bathroom, like golden. Always have to have a book. Love these pens. And of course, I'm drinking an iced matcha right now. How about that? Next one is actually your to-do later list. And so this was a journal card from Present, which was December 2023 story kit. And it had all of these, and I just filled in like what I wanted to do later and what I should do more of. And we had just done a little family staycation around our area, and this is literally explore more, play, and get outside. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So love it. This page was Happiness Is. And I happen to have a journal card in Project Life that literally said Happiness Is, and it is just my people. So these are actually pictures from my birthday and I think Valentine's Day. So this was back in February where this was. Okay. So then we're going to jump ahead to in my drawer, which is April. And I did take a little bit of a hiatus, and I am a little bit, you're never behind. You are where you are, and that is fine. I am doing a little bit of catch up and trying to do all of the weeks and get all 52 weeks done before the end of the year. I think I'm on week 13 right now, which is not printed yet, but the other ones, I think I have everything else printed. This is in my drawer, and I think it was actually in my junk drawer, but I really, either I have too many junk drawers or I don't really have one specific junk drawer. And I really, just as I was thinking about it, I thought the perfect drawer to document is my drawer at work. So I wrote a lot about my drawer at work. So there it is. It's very skinny. So that makes this page very ironic because, like, how do I have this much information about a drawer that is like not even, I don't even, like an inch deep? It's so narrow, so thin. You can hardly fit anything in there, and it has to be like laying flat or it won't close. My keys get stuck all the time. But that's like what I talk about, is like, I found so many things in this drawer. It's like this magical Mary Poppins drawer. So very cool. The next one, I'm not going to show you the whole thing because it is I Have Lived, which you could go lots of different ways with that prompt if you just think about it. Like, there's so many different things that I could have talked about. But what I wanted to talk about was the places that I have lived, the homes that I have called home. And I started from birth and I went all the way to our current home today. And so I have these little arrows that lead you around, and this actually lifts up and flaps out and it comes back up around to our current home. It just is a really cool page. Some of the pictures, I didn't have pictures of the front of my houses, especially some of the apartments that I have lived in. So I had to do screenshots from Google. I just went to Google Maps, put in the address. Some of the addresses I had actually forgotten, so I had to look them up. And this was a fun one to put together, just to take a trip down memory lane. I could have written so much about each one of these places and the things that happened there. I did include who my roommates were. So like this one was when I was born. So my roommates were my mom and my dad and my sister. This is actually a photograph. This photo is mine, and it is of me riding my bike while we were moving in, or we had just moved into that home. So just a really cool page. And so then I actually used, let me grab it. I want to show you. I don't use this often enough. This was one of those random Walmart finds of all places. It is a mini alphabet punch board, and it comes with, it's from We Are Memory Keepers, and it comes with like a guide on how to use it. And so I punched out the word home out of just black paper, and then I used a gold pen to do kind of the dot stitching around the edges. Love that page. Such a cool page. Oh, and the background from this one, gosh, is from a recent story kit. Is it from Enjoy? It might be from Enjoy. It might be from the one before. And I'm having a hard time remember which one it was. Okay, so this was April. This next prompt was Made Me Smile. And so I just went through my camera roll. I found a selfie of me smiling. And then I found pictures of me. I'm a dentist, so I'm all about the smiles. And I found a picture of me with this big goofy dog that has the most ridiculous teeth you have ever seen. And it actually sprays water out. And I sprayed my son directly in the eye. He's sitting right here. But it's me in my scrubs, which I don't always have pictures of me in my scrubs. I don't know. It just made me smile. For so many reasons, so many levels of smile in that picture. And then this one, this week was just an amazing week for us. And it made me smile again. So teaching pre-K and third grade about oral health, spring break, staycation, and fishing, and just being outside. So I think these were all from the same, like 2 weeks that it happened. But it doesn't have to be the same week that the prompt is in. I just went back and looked and found this on my camera roll and thought, perfect, okay? So then we're gonna skip. So that's the other thing. It's kind of chronological, but not exactly. And I'm totally okay with that. The next one is on my desk. And this is May 30th. So this is actually summer break, and it talks about the physical things that are actually on my desk. But then it talks about how my kids have been wanting to go to work with me, and how my son, this is my oldest, he was sitting, my business partner sits right over here, and she was dying because this is the jacket that I always wear. These are the headphones that I always wear while I'm listening to continued education, or like on a meeting, or whatever it is that I'm doing at my desk. And she just, it was like the male mini version of me sitting across the desk from her. And she actually took this picture. She took a couple of other pictures too, because she just knew that I was going to want to scrapbook them, which of course I did. So, and then the last page that I have in here, like I said, I have more that I want to print, but the last page I have right now is today's mindset, and it is just journaling. But behind that, it is a piece of art that I actually did. And I loved the way this piece of art turned out, but I did it in my art journal. So I'm going to have to figure out, I'm going to have to cut it out of there or something so that I can frame it or put it somewhere. So I just loved including it in here, even though you really can't see it as well. It means something to me. And it means something to me that I was doing art, and that I was just being present in the moment and doing my thing. So once again, multiple layers of story, because in addition, my one little word this year is present. So it also tied into just reflecting on my one little word. So that's where I'm at, 2023 or 2024. I have 2023 in the archives that I'm pulling out, and I'll put on YouTube soon. But I hope you enjoyed this. And if you're interested in any of these videos of like how I did this, please check out my reels on Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe, please, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.